Good morning, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat. It is Tuesday. It is cut down day, and the cuts are coming fast and furious. The latest news dropping: Kurt Benkert has been released by the Green Bay Packers, along with Ben Braden. I think those are the two most notable names on the list so far. A few other moves have already been made, including Dexter Williams being released. Hello to everybody in the comments section. Good to see you. I'll get to your comments and thoughts momentarily, but right now, I got to tell you about Underdog Fantasy. It's the best and easiest place to play fantasy football for big cash prizes. On Underdog Fantasy, you just draft. No need to worry about waivers, lineups, or injuries. Underdog handles that all for you. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app. You get a free $25 in bonus cash if you use the code Cheesehead when you make your first deposit. That $25 is worth 5 free entries into the Puppy 3, a fantasy football tournament with $1 million in total prize money and a $200,000 prize for first place. How is everybody? I know what you're saying. You're saying, it's cuts and it's fantasy, and all I want is something to read. Well, you know what? You're in luck. The 2021 official yearbook of the Green Bay Packers is available at packersyearbook.com. You can use code CHTV to get 10% off. CHTV also gets you 10% off the Game Day magazine, which arrives in your inbox every morning of every Packers game. 10% off using code CHTV. And while you're tooling around the internet, head to VINFL.com. That's VINFL.com for that sweet Acme Packers hoodie. Use code CheeseheadTV for 15% off. Hello to everybody in the comments. Good morning. How is everybody? Morning from Arizona. How are you, Joshua? Good morning from New York City. Hope you're well. Joshua, yes, you've caught me live. Any cuts announced yet? There won't be any announcements from the Packers until later today, but there are plenty of reports out there, including Paul Brettel, Cheesehead TV's own, and of Dairyland Express, putting out there that Kurt Benkert has been released. That's probably the headliner so far. Lots more cuts to come, though. Aiden, thanks for the super chat. I want Benkert, but I'd love for him to get a 53. He very well could. We'll see what happens with the waiver wire here in the next 24 hours. It's going to be very interesting. If he does make it through, will the Packers bring him back on the practice squad? I would suspect they would, but we'll see. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. Rashad Perryman could be cheap and a huge get. I'd be absolutely shocked if they brought him in. Kevin, how has Kiki looked this training camp? Well, he wasn't out there early on. It took him a long time to get on the field. I think he's rounding into shape. I think he looks like the possibility of a big next step is there. I know that's what Jerry Montgomery, the defensive line coach, has intimated and talked about. We'll see. Like I said, we didn't get a great long look at him. I thought he looked better as camp went on after he did get out on the practice field, but precious little to go on when it comes to Kiki. Punter waiver wire watch party. Jason, we'll see. Do I think the week 1 long snapper and punter are currently on the roster? To be determined. Hey, how's that for a crystal ball? There you go. I suspect, yes, they probably are. If I was Brian, I'd be cutting JK, cutting my losses, and finding somebody else. But it kind of depends on who that somebody else might be. You can't just cut the guy to cut the guy. Better the devil you know. Does Braden being cut mean Van Lanen makes the team? Janelle, not necessarily, but the odds are greater. No question about it. I think Van Lanen had an up and down camp, but certainly showed promise. And I would suspect there's a good chance he's going to make it. But a lot of ball game left. We will see. Thoughts on Braden going? Good for Kelly. I mean, you never really know with injured guys, and Kelly is dealing with that knee injury. I know Matt had indicated his status for week 1 would probably be questionable. So we will see. I would think so, but it's really impossible without any real kind of information about how bad that knee injury is. Jace, cut your losses after week 3. Robin, there's every possibility that's a move they make, but no need to make it now. He's a free roster spot, essentially, right now for the first 2 weeks. Do I think the defense will take games to get going like last year, or do you think they are going to get out to a faster start? I think they are going to take games. I think there's going to be a whole lot of growing pains on the defensive side of the ball. And I know Packers fans don't want to hear it, but oh, look, the Patriots have released Cam Newton. Oh, well, that's some non-Packers news there for you. That's an interesting one. Christian Uphoff has been released as well. I would definitely expect him back on the practice squad. Ian, thanks for the super chat. Kenny Benderek, the silver medalist, is a Packer fan. Let's recruit him to the Packers. Go, Pack, go. All the Olympians. Get all the Olympians. Any chance this Aaron Rodgers fellow makes the team? Garrett, this year, yes. Absolutely. If free agency never happened, how much different would the NFL be today? I don't think the Packers would have a team, most likely. Yosh Neiman will continue to show his development and show his skills as a backup ready to fill a breach in the O-line. Mick, let's hope so. Big Yash fan, but nothing's guaranteed until 4 o'clock Eastern. We'll see. I'm pulling for him. JK is the holder. Just ask Mason Crosby about that speed option he decided to run last year. That was a crazy play. Was that against the Panthers? I'm trying to remember, but I just remember the funny bit where he said he was hoping Mason would toss it back to him. That was great. Any cornerbacks released that might be of interest to the Packers on waivers? Not that I've seen, but that doesn't mean anything. We'll see as the day goes along. Long way to go yet. Lots of teams still making moves. Jack, thanks for the super chat. Unrelated question. If not for injuries, how good do you think Mikowski could have been? A top-line starter. I don't think he'd be a Hall of Fame type player, but he definitely could have put up big numbers if he had stayed healthy, especially with Sterling Sharp, if Sharp had stayed healthy. Do you think Benkert is good enough to fill the backup role next year if Love is the starter? It's a possibility. I think they would look for somebody with a little bit more, some more dynamic athleticism. But the guy clearly proved that the game's not too big for him at the NFL level. He can absolutely handle an NFL offense, make NFL throws. You could do a lot worse than Kurt Benkert. And we've seen teams do a lot worse than Kurt Benkert. So I think it's a possibility, but there's a long way to go. Montravius Adams was just released. Wouldn't mind him back. There's some upside there. The Patriots have an insanely deep defensive front, so I'm not too surprised about that. I do think, Packers will most likely, as they want to do, roll with the guys they have. But I wouldn't rule out a reunion. Not impossible. We've seen throughout the last decade or so, Ted used to do that quite a bit. Maybe Ryan follows suit. Where did I see Cam got cut? On Twitter.com. Jim McBride has the news. He released Cam Newton, Mac Jones as a starting QB. The Boston Globe is reporting it. Boston Globe is your source. Oh, and it looks like Jerry Jones has said into a microphone on his radio program that the Cowboys are working with the NFL to host the Saints-Packers game season opener at AT&T Stadium. Looking more and more likely that that's going to happen. Just making sure I don't miss any other news for you guys. Do you think Innis Gaines will make the roster, Nicholas? I think there's a good chance he makes the roster, yes, especially now that Uphoff has been, the news is out there that Uphoff has been released. He's got a shot. I don't think it's rock solid, but he's got a shot. And don't forget, we talked about this earlier this morning on Twitter. Today's 53-man roster is called the initial 53 for a reason. There will be undoubtedly guys on the waiver wire that the Packers are interested in, that they put claims in on. Perhaps they get them, perhaps they don't. But if they do, whoever they claim has to go on the 53, thereby necessitating a cut from a guy who was on the initial 53. So just because you're on the squad today doesn't mean you've made it. Unless your name's Aaron Rodgers, then you're probably safe. Do you think Benkert could end up back in Atlanta? I guess there's a possibility, right? Long way to go. I can't wait for transplants. Me too, Jared. A week from tomorrow, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channel is going to be a hoot. And a hoot nanny. Cam just got cut by the Pats. Yep, just talked about that, Aaron. Madden 22 just got the game live to play PS4. Daniel, don't have a PS4, but have fun over there. Let's sign Cam and trade all our QBs for all the picks in next year's draft. No. Let's not do that. What else you got, people? What else you got? Who do the Packers use as their Turk as Aaron Rodgers is involved with taking back the playbooks? Aaron Rodgers isn't doing anything other than getting ready for practice today. It's funny. Under Ted, I knew they had one guy who did it. I don't know under Brian if it's like, John Eric Sullivan or who might be actually he might be utilizing. I think he has a couple different guys make the calls and have the guys come in, etc. I don't think it's just one Turk. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. AT&T Stadium, home of the champion Green Bay Packers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has got to be the happiest man on earth at this news. He just plays lights out in that stadium whenever he's there. So I'm all in on that. Let's make like a banana and leave. I love it. Adams or MVS extension coming soon. I would think Adams would be the priority. Brian's talked about it a lot. We're going to hear from Brian Gutekunst later this afternoon. I'll ask him. We'll see. The Brewers winning it all really put the pressure on the Packers to finish the 3-pack of titles. Yes, it will. That's what I'm talking about. 3 parades, people. We're in phase 2 of the 3-parade program. I know this is a Packers podcast, but did you hear about Cam Newton getting cut? Zahn, you're late. I broke the news to everybody here that Cam Newton was cut. I was talking about Cam Newton getting cut when you were itching your daddy's pants. No, I did talk about it a little while ago. Am I surprised Ben Braden got cut? Not shocked. I think it's a bit of a surprise because of his versatility. I thought they would find a way to keep him around, but there's a lot of talent there. It is interesting to watch how, he went from being talked, surprisingly so, talked up by the offensive line coach this offseason to being cut. We kind of nobody had Ben Braden on their radar. Until Stenovich was like, he's going to compete as a starter for guard and tackle. And it was like, oh, okay. And then there he was in camp. And I'm not surprised that he didn't make it as a guard, but I thought he did some nice things at tackle. So we'll see. Maybe his versatility gets him a ticket back to the practice squad. We'll find out. Could Braden wind up on the practice squad? John, there's a possibility, definitely. Gmo released. Yeah, I saw that. Geronimo. Done in Detroit. How does the fact that we are $50 million over the cap next year affect the final 53 this year? Minimally. That's a worry for next year. Obviously, you are always looking ahead as a general manager, and Russ Ball in particular as a contract negotiator, but they're not going to be making bottom of the roster decisions as far as who to cut or who to keep because of whatever's going on with the salary cap next year. There's certainly some decisions that will be made where, okay, we've got this guy on a cheaper deal, say 2 years left on his deal, and he's only costing X, as opposed to this guy who's got 1 year left and he costs Y. Those conversations will be had, and occasionally that could sway a decision here or there, but there won't be monster franchise-altering decisions made because of the cap situation in 2022. That won't happen. Not today. Jeezy Baby, thanks for the super chat. JK being holder, does that make it hard to move on? Hey, the more you can do, right? Messing up the operation is something that definitely will be taken into consideration if they were to move on from J.K. Scott. We've seen how it can affect Mason. I mean, throughout the years, there have been ups and downs, and that operation, whether it's the long snapper, the holder, what have you, certainly an integral part and can mess things up pretty significantly. So, yes. Does it make it harder to move on? I would say so. Probably. Ben Braden, Mayor Jaden, doesn't matter. Pack dropping 40. I like where your head's at. Our third QB is Randall Cobb. I mean, on game days, yes. I still think they probably try to bring Benkert back on the practice squad as QB3. Would anyone pick up Kurt? Oh, it's a possibility. You never really know. 31 other teams, quarterback play being what it is in the league, spotty at best at the backup spots. All you got to do is watch preseason football to see how good Benkert looked in comparison to a lot of guys around the league. I would think, there's a possibility if there's a team that runs a similar system, whether it is Atlanta, his old squad, but now they've instituted a new offense, or, the Rams or somebody, San Francisco, somebody who runs this kind of, the Shanahan type system. If there's somebody who needs quarterback depth, yeah, it's a possibility. I think it's unlikely, but it's possible. Slayton outsnaps Lowry. I wouldn't say necessarily so right away, maybe as the year goes on. I think it's a nice luxury to have a big body up there on early downs. But Dean Lowry is an absolute lunch pail technician, if that makes any sense, which probably doesn't. He and Kenny have logged a lot of time together, and they know each other's games really, really well, and they work well together. And now that his contract is a little bit more in line with his services, I expect him to get a lot of work early on. Maybe Slayton rounds into shape as the year goes on. But yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily so right out of the gate. Fred, thanks for the super chat. Are you doing extra cheese to talk about the final 53? Fred, I will be going live with Mr. Andy Herman. We're going to talk some football. We're going to talk final 53, initial 53, later this afternoon. The timing will be, I don't know, just watch the channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll get an alert, because it's going to depend on A, 53 being finalized, and then B, got to kind of work around Gutekunst's availability. They have it slated for one time, but you never know. They're often late. I'm in a tire store waiting room. Thanks for helping me pass the time, Paul. I'm all about your needs, sir. Waiting for the "Are we hearing from GM Aaron Rodgers" comments today, Blake. I'm going to tweet that out right now, actually. I'm kidding. I'm not going to tweet that out. Do we keep Dexter Williams? No, Timmy. He's already been released. One of the first releases earlier this morning. Dexter Williams is no longer on the Packers squad. Who's in the star role? Happily, initially, it'll be Chand and Sullivan when they're in their base nickel. But we've seen Jair kick inside there. I think they will utilize him in that role somewhat, depending on matchups, who the number one wide receiver is. Maybe if an opposing coordinator is trying to keep a guy away from Jair, maybe they kick him inside in the star. But everything we saw in camp would suggest that Chand and Sullivan starts the year there. What else we got? What is the Packers' chance to get to the dance this year? Nicholas, the chance is excellent. They have a very, very good team. Lots of talent. A 3-time MVP quarterback. An insane wide receiver. Tons of weapons on offense. Going to score 30 to 40 points a week. You got to stay healthy, obviously. The defense is going to take time to round into shape, but that's nothing new. Just got to make the plays when they count down the stretch. But one game at a time. Got to beat the Saints in week 1. Yes, Love's interception looked more Favre-ish than Winston-ish. Yeah, well, he's a young dude. He got his foot stepped on. He's rolling out. There's a guy right in his face. He chucked it up for Jesus. Amen, brother. Live to fight another day next time. That's what you got to learn from. No problem. Now he keeps doing that again and again and again. That's Favre-ish. He hasn't done that yet. Lancaster or the big trash can full of dirt. Decisions, Antoine. I know that was the quote about Jack Heflin. I think Heflin makes the squad. I mean, I don't know. I'm sitting here refreshing, but Ben Kurt's out here tweeting. Nothing new. Head down. Keep going. We feel you, Kurt. Hope you're back on the 50 or on the practice squad, buddy. That's a tough life. We're thinking of you here at Cheesehead TV, bud. Has Joe Barry said how he's going to stop Kamara? Yeah, Kevin, he called us up, the media, last Tuesday, I think it was, and he said, look, guys, I've got a 17-slide PowerPoint that I want to send you guys with everything we're going to do with our fronts, coverages, how we're going to mix our substitution patterns, and here's how we're going to stop Kamara. No, he hasn't told us anything about how he's going to stop anybody. Come on, kids. It's too early for this tomfoolery. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. Nags and Herman, just a couple dudes being guys. That's us. That's how we roll. And that's how I'm going to roll right on out of here. I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on this video. Kyle, You slip it in right under the wire, buddy. Thanks for the super chat. Do I think Heflin makes it? Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you, everybody. Please, 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 please hit like, hit subscribe. Join Andy and I this afternoon, early evening, who knows when we break down the initial 53. Thank you so much for making Cheesehead TV part of your daily Packers routine. Patreon members, happy hours tomorrow night, not Tuesday this week, back to Wednesday. I'll see you there. And then those of you who put in for the Underdog Fantasy Draft, that's going to be happening Friday. As I said on the Patreon page, that information will be sent to you on Friday morning. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Go Pack Go.